A fair spinner has the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. It is spun twice. Copy and complete the table below to show all the possible outcomes when the spinner is spun twice. And so here is the table, and this table is given to show all of the possible outcomes when the spinner is spun twice. But the problem is this table is not complete, so we have to complete this table. But first, let's get an understanding of what's happening, like understand how to read this table. So this is saying, so this is the first spin, right? And this is the second spin. So when they have 1, 2, what does 1, 2 mean? 1, 2 means that the first time it is spun, it lands on 1. And the second time it is spun, it lands on 2. That's an outcome. That's a possible outcome. And this one means that the first time it is spun, it lands on 1. And the second time it is spun, it lands on 4, right? This one means that the first time it is spun, it lands on 2. The second time it is spun, it lands on 2 as well. This one means, this outcome means that the first time we spin the spinner, it lands on 2, and the second time it lands on 3. 3, 1 means that the first time we spin it, it lands on 3, and the second time it lands on 1. 4, 1 means that the first time we spin it, it lands on 4, but the second time it lands on 1. 3, 4 means it lands on 3 first, and then 4 second. And then 4, 4 means it lands on 4 first, and then 4 second. And so we have some outcomes that are not like that are missing, and so we have to fill it in. And so notice that this is 1, 1, and 1, 1 means that the first time we spin it, it lands on 1. The second time we spin it, it lands on 1 as well. Then we have 1, 3, which means that the first time we spin it, it lands on 1, right? The second time we spin it, it lands on 3. This one is going to be 2, 1, right? Because the first time we spin it, it lands on 2, and the second time we spin it, it lands on 1. Now this one is going to be 3, 2, which means that the first time we spin it, it lands on 3. The second time it lands on 2. This one right here is 2, 4. The first time we spin it, it lands on 2. The second time it lands on 4. And this one, it's going to be 3, 3. So the first time we spin it, it lands on 3. The second time it lands on 3 as well. And this one is going to be 4, 2. 4, 2. The first time we spin it, it lands on 4. The second time it lands on 2. And this one is going to be 4, 3. 4, 3. So the first time we spin it, it lands on 4. The second time we spin it, it lands on 3. And so this is going to be the completed table, which shows all of our possible outcomes. Now let's use this table. It says use your table to calculate the probability of obtaining a 3 followed by a 2. Okay, so what is that probability, right? A 3 followed by a 2. Well, how many possible outcomes do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So there are 16 possible outcomes. So that's why we have 16. But in order to get a 3 followed by a 2, that only happens once, right? That happens once right there. So it's going to be 1 over 16. That's the probability of getting a 3 followed by a 2. And if we divide this, we get 0.0625. Next, it says use your table to calculate the probability of getting 2 prime numbers. 2 prime numbers. Okay, so the answer is definitely, well, let's work it out before, the answer is totally given. Now, what do we mean by prime numbers? Prime numbers are, these are numbers that only have 2 factors, one in itself. So 2, 2, these are 2 prime numbers. 2, 3, these are 2 prime numbers. 3, 2, these are 2 prime numbers. And 3, 3, these are 2 prime numbers. Okay, and so we have, where do we have it? 2, 2 is right here. Then we have 2, 3. Where's 2, 3? 2, 3 is right here. Then we have 3, 2, which is right here. We have 3, 3, right? We can't use 3, 4 because 4 is not prime. We can't use 4, 4 because 4 is not prime. We can't use 1, 1 because 1 is not prime, and so on. So there's only 4 times this happened, right? So it's going to be 4 over 16. So the probability of getting two numbers that are prime is going to be 4 over 16. 4 because it's only 4 times that this happens, and 16 because there are 16 possible outcomes in our sample space. When we divide it, we get 0.25. Next, we need to figure out what is the probability of getting two consecutive numbers. So like 1, 2, 3, 2, right? They have to be consecutive, which means it comes one after the other. Or it could be in reverse, right? And so two consecutive numbers, that could be 1, 2, right? 1, 2, 2, 3, all right, 2, 3. Or it could be 3, 4, okay? Or we could have, so we have 1, 2, that's consecutive. It could be 2, 1, that's in reverse, right? It could be 2, 3, or it could be 3, 2, that's this in reverse. It could be 3, 4, or it could be 4, 3. Okay, so the probability of, so this happens 6 times, right? And so the probability of getting two consecutive numbers is going to be 6 over 16. And 6 over 16 when we, 6 because there are 6 times that this happens, 6 times that this happens in our sample space. And 16 because the total number of elements in the sample space is 16. So we have 6 over 16, and when we divide that, we get 0.375. And that's the answer to this question. Okay, that brings us to the end of this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.